Hi, it's Pris. This is part 2 of talking about the rise of witchcraft and how do we protect ourselves and get ready for the war that we're in already. Okay, in listening to her, to Cheryl Love, and some of the things she talked about, I felt like I needed to share some of the personal things. And one of the things that I've learned a lot about in all the attacks that I've gone through from witchcraft from the time I was in the 90s when I was trying to do deliverance on SRA victims, not knowing that I was one, till now, I have always gone through stuff from time to time, okay? In the last few years, it has been especially intense. When you intercede for other people that are being attacked, and when you do evangelism and intercede for the lost, you're going to find that there's a price to be paid of dying to self. And what we want most in our lives is to be sanctified by the Holy Spirit, meaning healed and delivered. And we're sanctified by His truth in the Word. So number one is read the Word. I went for some years where I could only read Psalms or here and there something because I was so oppressed by witchcraft. So reading the Word or hearing the Word, something, getting it into you in some way. Now everybody's different. Some people are visual learners, some people are auditory learners, or tactile learners. So some people learn it better if they write it down. Some people learn it better if they watch it and read it. Some people are better if they listen to it, the auditory learners. I'm not an auditory learner, but it helps to do both, however you can get it in, to get in the Word to you. Because if you have a busy life and you're on the run a lot, you can stick a CD in your car. If you have a car with a CD player, if you're blessed enough to have that, you can stick it in the CD player and play it in your car so that you hear the Word, while you're driving. Or you can put worship in there, if you don't have time to worship in the morning, you can worship on your way to work. You can worship on your way home. Nobody says you have to do it all in one sitting of 1 hour or 2 hours. You can do it as you have ability to do. And that's important. So the Word sanctifies us. Worship also, because what does it say? That in His presence is fullness of joy, and in His presence is everything. In His presence is everything you need, because He's the resource of all we need. So there must be daily worship too. And even if you're so freaking tired because you're sick and all you can do is lay down, then just turn on the worship. Lay down and worship Him. You don't have to raise your hands all the time. You don't have to be in a kneeling all the time or standing all the time to do it right. You don't have to dance all the time to do it right. That's all religious garbage. Sometimes in life you're so busy with family and cooking and cleaning and all the other things that you have to do that you do it as you can. Now, it's easy for me because I'm single to put on the music while I'm cleaning or doing the dishes or gardening or whatever, and that's a good thing to do, and to do it as much as you can, because then you get revelation, then you get insulation from the enemy. Because when you're in worship and God's presence is there, the enemy can't touch you. So let's see, we've talked about the Word, worship, and prayer. discipline and prayer, again, it doesn't have to always be, oh, you know, you have to pray for an hour every day. Oh, that's great. And I wish that we all had the kind of spare time that we could do as those who are ministers have the time to do. But we can't all do that. So right now I'm more aware of it because for a long time I had that ability, but now I'm helping take care of my young relatives. So I have to pray when I can. And I learned from an Egyptian man years ago, Egyptian Christian, who taught us to pray in all situations, and actually that's in the Jewish handbook too, for the New York handbook that I found in my mom's apartment after she died. And maybe my father gave it to her, I don't know, but at any rate, they teach in there, you know, if you can't pray at home, then pray in the field. If you can't pray in the field, then you pray here. And it goes on and on. And so that is what we do. That's what I do. I know, you know, I pray. I'm trying to be disciplined now about this prayer I got from Daniel Duvall, praying it morning and night because of the attacks that I've been under, and to be more disciplined about it. But it doesn't take a long time to do that one. And then during the day, I can pray in tongues. I can pray in tongues when I'm doing dishes. I can pray in tongues when I'm in the pool. I can pray in tongues doing the laundry because I can do it underneath my breath. I don't have to do it loud and openly. I can do it in my spirit, man. So that's something you can do anytime, night or day. I can do it when I'm watching the news in the evening because I want to know what's going on in the world. I can do it anywhere, pretty much. I know there was this story of a woman who worked in the bank who was a Christian, and there was this man who used to come in and he would swear and carry on, and he was a little bit mentally challenged. And so one day she felt the Lord prod her to pray in the spirit and to bind the strong man over him and the spirit of blasphemy when he was in the bank, you know, making a lot of noise. So she did that and he stopped. So anywhere you go, you can do it. Now, I was at the coffee shop one day, this was a few years back, and there was a man who walked by who was homeless, and he was schizophrenic because he was talking to himself as he walked by, so that caught my attention right away. And so I just started praying in tongues internally. I was not saying anything out loud. He got across the walkway where there's a driveway into the shopping area, and he turned around and he looked right at me and he started yelling, "Shut up, shut up, stop it." And then he made, I can't even remember what he said after that, but it wasn't, you know, a bird falls to the ground and you kick him or something like that, you know. And it was demonic. It was totally demonic. So it even caused people to come out of, like, I was sitting out just outside the coffee shop, nobody else was around, and it caused people to come outside to look at what the heck was going on because they heard him yelling so loud. The demon knew I was praying, even though I was silent in my prayers. You have to understand this because there's a lot of people in the church teaching, oh, demons can't read your mind, and demons can't hear you when you're doing that. You need to speak out loud to be effective, that kind of stuff. And it's unsubstantiated in the Word, and it's unsubstantiated in my experience. So you need to understand that it's effective to pray silently or out loud. It just depends on the circumstance, you know, what you need to do. So those three are the pillars, of intimacy with God and transformation in your soul. Because when you pray for, whether it's for yourself or for others, it transforms you. When you pray in tongues, it transforms you. The word substantiates that. So, okay, the next thing is, see, in order to get to death to self, which is the goal of both Satan and God, is to kill you, but one is to kill you physically, mentally, and every other way. That's Satan. And God just wants you to come to death to self. He died for you, and he's expecting you to also die to your own will and to do his will. So, and he'll give you your wishes. I mean, he'll give you wonderful things and provide for you everything that you need. Not everything you want, but everything you need. So, one of the things about death to self that stood out to me when she was talking was that we need to learn that if we're trying to control in our lives, control our own lives, for example, in various areas, then people who want to control us will still have an inroad, meaning witches and warlocks, okay? So you can't be in rebellion, control, nor rejection. Rejection is the other side of rebellion, okay? But the thing is, if we give in to rejection, then we give in to inferior pride, and pride is saying that you're less than God says you are, or more than God says you are. It doesn't matter which side of the pendulum, okay? If I think I'm less than what God says I am, then I'm still in sin. And that sounds so hard, perhaps, but it's the truth. When you think less of yourself, then you're not walking in wholeness. And the enemy has an inroad into your life when you have inferiority and fear and nervousness and anxiety and all these kinds of things. And he's so happy to pounce on that because he wants to destroy you. The end game of rejection is suicide. The end game of anger and rebellion is murder. So you need to realize that all these things are interrelated, and that you have to walk with your mind focused on Christ and to reject thoughts that come into your mind that are less than what the Bible says of you or anyone else, for that matter. And we can't be into criticism, anger, hatred, lust, fears, sin of, a lifestyle of sin, and then expect not to get hit at some point with witchcraft. And even defensive pride that people have, like where they're gonna, I'll show him, or when it comes to the devil or demons, oh no. No. You're dealing with entities that have more power than you do. God has the power and he lives in you. So you need to submit to God and the devil will flee. When you submit to God, the devil has no way to get at you. So I'll share one example of that, but I don't have the time in this one, so we'll go on to that in the next one. God bless you.